Finding and hiring the right people for your team is never an easy task. It can also be very, very time consuming. So in today's video, I'm sharing with you 7 tools which are going to make hiring, interviewing, or onboarding that much easier for you so you can spend more time growing your business and less time in the hiring phase. Hello everyone, Scott Friesen here at Simpletivity, helping you to get more done and enjoy less stress. Now, the first tool that we're going to look at is the salary calculator by Glassdoor. When you're hiring for a new position, especially if it's a role in which you have not hired before in the past, you're probably curious as to what you should be paying for that. Or maybe can you even afford to hire someone in that particular area? Now, to get started, all we need to do is enter in a job title. So let's say that I am looking for a graphic designer. Now, it's going to give me a number of different related options here or things pertaining to that word. I'm just going to stick with the basic graphic designer. You can change your location, but it's already identified that I'm here near the Seattle, Washington area. And then this one is really more designed for those who are maybe seeking a job at a particular employer. I'm going to show you how you can see this information on the next screen anyhow. I'm going to hit Get Started, and what Glassdoor is going to do is it's going to take all the information that it's collected and give me a very accurate number. In fact, it's telling me right here at the top that they have very high confidence that the average base pay for a graphic designer in the Seattle area is about $57,000 a year. Now, you can see a lot of the other income and data statistics that they include here, including different seniority levels. So if I want to see the difference between a graphic designer and a senior graphic designer in this specific area, it's roughly $20,000. So a lot of great information as I plan to either put together a job description or start interviewing possible candidates. Now, if I scroll down, you'll see that Glassdoor gives us some other great helpful information as well, including related job titles and their average salaries, so I can compare as well. But I can also keep scrolling down further and see if my business falls into a similar category. Now, these are pretty significant corporations here that we see here, including things like U of W and Amazon, which of course are based in the Seattle, Washington area. I'm going to have a much smaller business, so maybe it's not directly comparable, but you can see where these prices are coming from. The next tool on our list is a website called Willow, which completely changes the way in which you interview your prospective candidates. You probably realize how time-consuming it can be to set up and schedule those interviews, to have them come in person or maybe schedule a Zoom or video conferencing meeting, only to find out in the first few minutes that, oh, you know what, this person is really not a good fit for this role or for our organization. Well, what Willow does is allow you to set up specific questions and then have your candidates record their answers at their leisure, at their time, and then have you review them at your leisure or at your time so that you can quickly and easily whittle down that list to just maybe your core candidates that are worth your time for an actual in-person or live video. Let me show you how it works. Here I am within my Willow account, and I've set up a sample job description. I'm looking for an assistant store manager. If I click the edit button here, I can just copy and paste my existing job description, or I can add it from scratch right here. But on the very next screen, we have a list of questions so that they can record their answers when they want to, and then I can review them and see if they're a good fit for my organization. If I go back to the interviews tab, and if I click on the assistant store manager, you can see that I've got 3 responses already. So I can come in here whenever I want to. I don't need to schedule time. I don't need to call them and find a time that is suitable for both of us. What I can do is I can click on this response here, and here, this applicant, I've got the details of the applicant here, but I've also got his video replies. So I can sit here and say, hey, tell me a time when you were the hero in your workplace, or, what motivates you to work in a Lego store. I can hit the play button, And then I can listen to his response and evaluate and see, you know what, I think this would be a relatively good fit. I'm going to put this individual as 4 out of 5 stars. The great thing is that you can work with Willow with a number of your teammates. You can quickly and easily toggle through the people who have submitted their responses here and watch their videos and evaluate them at your leisure. And then when you've whittled it down to what you feel are the really good golden core candidates, well, then you can schedule them in for a real interview. Now, another tool that can help you with the hiring, interviewing, and onboarding phases is Trello. Now, Trello can be used in so many different ways, but I've seen so many teams use Trello as a part of their interviewing and hiring strategy. So here you can see we've got a fairly simple workflow, but a great way to keep everything organized as you go through the hiring stages. So in this particular example, you can see how this recruiting pipeline is working for this particular organization. We've got future needs. So here we have a few titles, a few positions that we think we're going to need in the future. Maybe not immediately, but we're just thinking ahead. Next, we have a list called paused. Maybe we thought that a designer was a future need, but once we started looking, once we started maybe interviewing or just discussing with the team as a whole, we decided, you know what, maybe we don't need a new designer at this point. Next up, we have a need to post. So these are the things that we need to get ready. Maybe we need to draft the job description. Maybe we need to do that salary research at this point in time so that we can get ready to post. Next up, we have our open positions. And keep in mind, these things are meant to move from left to right. So once we've got all the information for our iOS developer, well, then maybe it moves over as an open position. And of course, the great thing about Trello is not only that we see a high level view, but we can dive in deeper and add more details. So for example, if I want to click on this internal software developer role, which is currently an open position, I can see who the lead recruiter is. I can see who the main team contact is. I can have a link directly to the job description. So all of this detail and information can stay within the card, but then at the high level view, I can see where everything is going until hopefully they move over as a closed position. And the other great thing about Trello is that you've got a great history of all the positions which you've hired for in the past. So if you need to reuse any of these cards, you can quickly and easily do so. Now, when it comes to finding the very best talent, of course, you're not only going to rely on job postings, you're also going to be actively searching for the best people. And that's exactly where Contact Out comes into play. Because what if you are searching for someone here on LinkedIn and you'd like to reach out to them? Now, you could use the messaging feature here within LinkedIn, but I think many of us know that not everyone responds very timely. Some people might not even respond at all. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to find Ewan's actual email address or phone number so I can contact him directly, maybe impress him with something special and see if he might like to join my team. So what Contact Out is actually a browser extension which works in conjunction with LinkedIn. Once you have Contact Out installed, here I am on Ewan's profile page. All I need to do is come up here and click on the Contact Out extension. And look at this, it's giving me 3 different email addresses. It's giving me 2 different phone numbers and even his Twitter handle. I might even be able to find additional emails. I can even save his profile. Now, all I have to do is click this show button and it's going to show me the full details. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm not going to do so right here. If you'd like to find out his actual contact information, you'll have to install Contact Out. But a great way to find those emails and phone numbers and contact information for the people you really want to get in touch with. Now, another great tool that can assist you during the hiring process and beyond is SurveyMonkey. And you're probably saying to yourself, wait a minute, SurveyMonkey, I know that tool, I've used that tool, but how is that going to help me as a part of the hiring or interview process? Well, SurveyMonkey knows an awful lot about what makes people tick and also how to complete very effective surveys. So if we come over here to the templates section of SurveyMonkey and come down to human resources, there are several several different templates that you can either use right out of the box or maybe inspire you to create your own. So for example, here we have a template called Entry Interview Template, and this can be a great way to eliminate a number of candidates which are simply not a great fit for the position that you have posted. There's an awful lot of open-ended questions here, and you can actually run through it yourself before you choose to use it or choose to copy it to see if it's the right fit for you. And of course, with anything here within SurveyMonkey, you can edit all of these questions. But I think the real power is that you can use some of this quantitative data. So for example, we're taking a look at some sample results here. And in this case, working for others or working by yourself, which do you prefer? That was the question. And you can see that the responses were almost a perfect even 50-50 split. Well, let's say that the position that I'm after is about customer support or front facing. I need them to work well with others. So I can proceed and ignore or throw out these other 146 applicants and just focus my search on those who chose this answer. A lot of great detail and data that you can look for here. But it gets better because even once someone is hired, or maybe even with your own team, you can use some of the other templates, such as this employee performance template. So here there's going to be a combination of some quantitative data and some multiple choice, which again, you can actually try out for yourself to see if it's the right workflow or the right questions for you. SurveyMonkey is so much more than just getting anonymous or unsolicited information. You can tie these to your prospective job applicants and see if they're the right fit for you. Now, the sixth tool on our list today has to do with creating unbiased job descriptions. Why is that important? Well, I hope that you're out to hire the very best candidate, regardless if they are male or female. However, we often use language or include words which are more masculine or feminine coded and may actually turn off some of your prospective candidates. For example, you don't want your female job seekers to read your job description and get the impression that you are seeking a male team member. That's precisely where gender decoder comes into play. So here we have a blank text box, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in a job description which I grabbed off of the Indeed website. Then I'm going to hit the check this ad button, and what gender decoder is going to do is it's going to highlight the masculine coded words but also the feminine coded words in this particular ad. This can be very interesting because sometimes we don't necessarily associate these words with either gender, but society may tell us otherwise. Now, the next tool on our list is all about maximizing your reach and broadcasting that you have a position available when it comes to hiring. And in this case, we're taking a look at social media. You probably already recognize that social media can be a very powerful way to advertise that you are looking for new and great talent. And who better to hire than people who are already fans of your service or of your business? Here within the Buffer dashboard, you can schedule out your social media posts, including advertising your positions in advance, so you don't have to do them on a regular basis. You can even look at them at a calendar view to see if they go out at a very specific time when you know certain people may be engaged or looking at your content. And on top of that, you can repurpose existing content. So you can create that great image, you can create that great post and send it along multiple different channels. Or maybe you just want to repurpose the exact same post on multiple days. Buffer makes it so easy to create these posts, schedule them in advance, and make sure that you're attracting the right talent and getting it in front of their eyeballs. Now, if you have questions about any of the tools mentioned in today's video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Remember, being productive does not need to be difficult. In fact, it's very simple.